So here's a question for everybody. How many doubling periods do you have left? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referencing the Rule of 72. And if you're not sure what the Rule of 72 is, the Rule of 72 is kind of a guide for investing. It tells you, given an annual rate of return, how long it will take for the money that you've invested to double. I've talked about preparing for retirement, and the Rule of 72 is a powerful but simple tool to help you to do just that. Now, the reason it's simple is because you take whatever the rate of return that you are getting on your investment, and you divide 72 by that, and it will tell you how long it will take for that investment to double. So, for instance, in many of my videos, I talk about 12% as an annual rate of return. It's very attainable on investments, and it is. And if you are getting 12% as a rate of return, then you divide 12 into 72, you know that your money is going to double every 6 years. It's a rough estimate, but it's proven fairly accurate for me. And so that brings me back full circle to the original question. How many doubling periods do you have left? Most people look at retirement as an age rather than a number, although the opposite is actually true. But if you're investing and saving for retirement, then you've got in mind some date at which you hope to retire. For a lot of people, that's 59 and a half, 60 is when they're hoping to retire, because that's the earliest that they can start taking withdrawals from their protected retirement accounts. Okay, so it makes sense. You don't typically draw full Social Security benefits and whatnot until much later. Some people are counting on those. So they would consider themselves to have a bit more time for their money to double. Me, I don't want to work any longer than I have to. My wife doesn't either. And so 60 is our starting goal. We want to be done. We want to be young enough to be able to have fun, with the money that we've got, doing whatever it is that we want to be doing. So, for me, the answer to my question is I've got 10 years. So my money's got to be working hard for me. And I need to be coming up with a business idea or some sort of widget that I can market and sell and patent or something, so that we will be able to have the kind of retirement that we would hope to have. If you're a young person and you're planning to go out and get a job instead of starting a business or inventing something, then you're in the same boat. And so you've got X number of years until you are planning to retire. If you're one of those people that is starting at age 18, well, then you've got 42 years until you are age 60. And you can then, in turn, run the math and do the numbers on that for yourself. Sorry, I'm a little distracted here because my pockets are full. I'm going to run and drop this stuff off. All right, if you've got 42 years and you know that you're getting a 12% rate of return, well, then you've got 7 doubling periods between you and retirement. That's how long you've got for your money to be working for you. Okay? If you're only getting 10% as a rate of return, well, then you know that your money's going to double every 7 years, roughly, and that you've got 6 doubling periods until retirement. You guys are smart. You can, surely you're picking up what I'm putting down here, so to speak. And the point to this is the longer that it takes you to make the decision to start investing, that means the fewer doubling periods that you've got between you and retirement. And so you're either going to have to take some crazy risks with your money to try and accomplish that goal, risks that might not pan out, or you could be a little more cautious and just settle for less money, less of a lifestyle at retirement age. And that's really what we're getting at here. Start as soon as you possibly can. I'm going to say it as many different ways as I can to try and get this point across. If you're doing odd jobs, if you're working a job while you're still in school, then be socking away a decent chunk of that money so that you can invest it when you turn 18. If you're not, if you're going to school and then going to college and whatnot, well, it needs to be on your mind, because when you get out of college at 22, 24, 28, whatever, and actually start working in your career, you've got that much less time. You've got potentially 10 years less, if that's when you're starting, in order to be able to save up enough money for retirement. So take a look at that, and then take a look at the things that you are investing in and consider them seriously. You don't want to be too cautious early on, because you have time to overcome some of those mistakes that you might make. A lot of people talk about the investing in the stock market being risky. It is. It is, especially if you're investing in individual stocks. It's a little less risky if you're investing in things like mutual funds and whatnot that spread out and minimize the risk. And it's not crazy impossible to where an average person couldn't figure it out. You can. And if you're concerned, well, there are professionals out there that are willing to help you. Keep in mind that investment professionals tend to make money when you make money, believe it or not. They do want to help you to get into, for the most part, into investments that are going to keep you happy, that are going to give you the rate of return that you're looking for. So it's not, if it's something that you feel is too foreign to grasp on your own, the professionals are there to help you. Now, my wife and I, we've taken care of things for ourselves. We've looked into it and done the research. I already was in the field anyway, and I had a mind for numbers, so it's worked out for me. And it could for you as well. By the same token, I've talked in other videos on some of our investments. We've averaged 50% as a rate of return. Well, if we're getting 50% as a rate of return, then our money is doubling less than every 2 years. Now, I said I have 10 years until our retirement age. That means that if I can maintain that 50% as a rate of return over the next 10 years, well, then my money should double 5 times during that period of time. And that's what we're really looking for. Our other investments have given us 37% as a rate of return. Again, that is right at about 2 years. Still, that our money's going to be doubling. At 50%, it's less than 2 years, actually. It's like 1.5. But still, I'm making my point and I'm digressing. I don't need to keep repeating it. Like I said, you guys are smart. Please take my advice. Start investing when you're young, as soon as you can. That way, time works for you instead of against you. That way, your money has ample time to grow instead of sitting there doing nothing. And for Pete's sake, don't get caught up in the game of, oh, as soon as this or that happens, that's when I'll invest. Start off from the very beginning with a plan to invest. As soon as almost never comes for a lot of people. They don't follow through. As soon as I get a promotion, I'll start investing. Nope, doesn't tend to work, because about the time you get a promotion, it doesn't come with exactly the same amount of money that you thought it was going to, and the money ends up having to go towards other things. Oh, as soon as I get a better job, I'll start investing. Nope, that's not the right attitude either, because things could happen. You could get the better job and then get immediately laid off from it. Work it into your plan now. Start off with it in your plan, and it's a much easier habit to maintain.